Production of the J.R. Eldridge Show is made possible with financial support from Arnold, Batson, Turner & Turner, attorneys at law. Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments. The accounting firm of Turner, Rogers, Manning & Plyler, PLLC. Southern Bancorp. Mary and Martha's Florist and Gifts. Jostens. Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker. Taylor King, Personal Injury Lawyers. Twin Rivers Health and Rehabilitation. Welch Funeral Home. Roger Wingfield of State Farm Insurance. And Southwest Sporting Goods. This is the J.R. Eldridge Show with the coach of the Arkansas State Champion Football Badgers. Joining Coach Eldridge today is your host, Caleb Bird.
Welcome back to another week of the J.R. Eldridge Show. I'm your host, Caleb Bird. We're joined as always by Coach Eldridge, and this week is an exciting week on the show because the Badgers finally got a victory. They traveled up to Fountain Lake on Friday night and ruined the Fountain Lake homecoming with a 44-0 win over the Cobras.
Yeah, really excited about getting the win. I felt like our players, we really cut out a lot of the mistakes that we'd been making in games. I hate that it really took 5 games to get us to that point, but I feel great about our team. I really felt like our players revealed their character and who they were as a football team. There's a lot of teams out there that if they go 0-5, they're ready to throw in the towel. I believe our players were definitely not ready to do that, and in fact, they were ready to really show who they really were. We cut out a lot of mistakes. We were able to make a lot of plays, and so that it feels good. It feels good on Sunday when we have our post-game meeting on Sunday. It feels good after the victory to stay down there out on the field without just going straight back to the field house to celebrate together. It feels good to hand out helmet stickers on Sunday. We don't do that when we lose. We only do it when we win. So all those things are so much better. We've still got a lot of things to correct, and we talked about those things on Sunday. But it's a lot funner or a lot more fun to correct those things after a win than it is after a loss.
And Coach, it was really a well-rounded performance from the Badgers. The defense didn't allow a single point, and the special teams, Gabe Goodman kicked almost every kickoff into the end zone and made 3 field goals. And then the offense scored almost every time they were on the field. So it was really a well-rounded team effort.
Yeah, I felt like, in every phase we really dominated. So that, it makes you feel good when you go out there and you actually see what you have practiced being executed. And so that was really good for our guys to be able to gain that confidence, and really perform well and perform the stuff that we practice throughout the week, really to have a good performance in all 3 phases. And, again, we weren't perfect. We had too many penalties on offense. But when those things happen, we were able to bail ourselves out with the other phase of the game, whether that be defense or special teams. We get several penalties right before we punt the football. We were going to quick kick the ball, but we were backed up. So then Gabe comes in and he actually pins them inside the 5-yard line with that huge punt. I mean, things like that, being able to work together offensively, defensively, and with special teams, feels good to see that and see that we can do what we've planned to do in practice.
Well, it was a really exciting week, so let's take a look at some of the highlights from the game. Coming out in the all-white on the road, it was homecoming at Fountain Lake. They had the homecoming court before the game. A lot of people in the stands to support the Cobras, but the Badgers elected to take the ball first and really had a good opening drive.
Yeah, this is something that we've we've been able to do consistently in the past is score on our opening drive. You know, as a defense, our goal is no score first drive of either half. But we were able to do that offensively, and it's a game changer because you just create that momentum.
Zion Hatley with 2 big runs to start the game, and he really looked like he's at full speed now after those injured weeks.
Yeah, I feel like he's getting really, really close. Felt like he ran really, really hard on Friday night. Really proud of the way he's bounced back, and look forward to more good things from him.
So Cannon getting in the end zone there on the quarterback sneak, and Goodman with the extra point. The Badgers are up 7-0 early, and then here's the first of those many good kickoffs from Goodman, kicking it into the back of the end zone. At a certain point, the Fountain Lake return men just stopped trying. They just let it go over their heads.
Yeah, so he was 5 for 5, or basically had five kickoffs and 5 touchbacks. So that was really good. And then he was 100% on PATs and on field goal tries. So really proud of the way he performed.
First drive, Fountain Lake was able to get a little bit of a drive going, but right here a good tackle in the backfield by the defensive lineman really sets up a 4th and short down situation.
Yeah, I felt like we really fit. We could have done a better job fitting on the run. Coach Kaiser wasn't fully pleased, but when you hold an offense to 110 total yards of offense, you're doing something right. So felt really good about our defensive performance. You saw Cole Turner earlier, and then you just see Victor Tatamy making a huge play. Victor was our defensive player of the week. Of course, Gabe was our special teams player of the week.
Yeah, just then you saw a big hit from Tatamy in the backfield on Amon Johnson, who was the star player for Fountain Lake, and he really could not get anything going the whole game.
Yeah, he really couldn't. Felt like we beat him up pretty good, and that was really good for us. Just being able to come out and violently establish dominance, that's something that we want to try to do every week defensively.
So 2 normal defensive players here coming on the offense and making big plays. First off was a big catch from Tatamy, and then Kyron Harrison breaks a few tackles and gets in the end zone on a long run.
Yeah, I just felt like we needed to change up real quick at Cat, or our tailback position. Kyron comes in there, and you saw him run through about 4 tackles, and then he refused not to get in the end zone, and he did a great job right there on that run. Really proud of the way Kai plays offensively and defensively.
We talk about a lot of times those normal defensive players coming in to play offense. Well, right here, Cannon Turner coming in, a big tackle here on defense. The quarterback playing a little bit of safety.
Yeah, we felt like we wanted his presence out there. He played a little bit of safety in junior high, and then just he really only practiced at safety 2 days last week, but we felt like the way he was playing it in practice, that we would give him the start, and then when he needed a break, Keelan Nelson's been getting better and better every week playing that safety spot. So we'll use both of them at safety as we move forward. He played a really good game, had 2 TFLs, had 5 total tackles, did a really good job when he was out there on defense.
Coming in the game here is Buster Thomas, and that's a nice read option play there. Cannon electing to go up the middle and driving through a few players and picking up extra yards at the end of the run.
Yeah, Cannon did a great job running the football. He had over 100 yards rushing. He also did a great job throwing the football, had 160 yards passing. But Buster actually was the player of the game. He did offensive player of the game. He did some really great things right here. Stepped out of bounds just a little bit early, but ends up getting in on another play later on. Just really proud of the way he's come off that injury, been able to step up and do some really good things for our offense and take the focus off of our backfield. And Victor did that as well during the night.
That was an example right there. Buster, you saw, got all the way down to the 1-yard line. Penalties pushed it back behind the 10-yard line, but then he manages to get in. The offense did that time and time again where the penalties drove them back, but they were able to pick up the extra yardage and pick up first downs and get touchdowns.
Yeah, really, I felt like, Coach Moreland did an excellent job of play calling, mixing up the outside runs with the inside runs, and then keeping them off balance with play action, and then we were able to hit a couple of vertical routes on them as well. So they couldn't really key on anybody. We distributed the ball all over the field.
Right here you saw a little bit of a scuffle on the punt return, and in this play, face mask penalty against Turner, a bit of a scuffle after the play, and things are getting heated, but the Badgers managed to keep their cool and avoid any real penalties against them.
Yeah, I felt like that's one of the things that we like to talk about is you're going to play as violent as you can between the whistles, but after the whistles, if you didn't do enough between the whistles, that's why you're doing something after the play. So we want to make sure that we play extremely violent between the whistles, not after.
And a touchdown just there, a great pass route from Victor Tadamy, and seeing him come in those special situations in offense, he really has enough energy to beat those cornerbacks and get open for big plays.
Yeah, I felt like he did a great job catching that football. Cannon made a great throw. Coach Moreland also, normally he's the L. They were having their best cornerback on him all night, so Coach Moreland moved him to the right side, and 22 did not travel with him. So we felt like it was a great matchup, and really Victor probably could have beat 22 as well, but we just felt like it would be a better matchup. Coach Moreland did a great job seeing that and making that adjustment.
All right, and lots of adjustments like that throughout the game, led to the big score line. A good catch there from Witten, and Cannon's throwing game really improved in this game. He'd been having some trouble the last few weeks, but he looked really comfortable in the pocket last Friday night. Yeah,
he really did. I felt like he got a lot better, and he was 9 of 16 for 160 yards passing, so that was really good for us. And this is an example of not forcing the football right here and just taking what you can get. We've got a good field goal kicker, so we don't want to give up an opportunity in the red zone for points by forcing something. I felt like he made good decisions all night.
Field goal gave the Badgers a 31-0 lead heading into the half, and now we're in the second half. Early on, this great interception from Victor Tadamy.
Yeah, it was really, really well played. I mean, that's if you wanted to make a drill tape of how to play man coverage, right there it is. Did a great job, and it's one of the faster kids in the state, number 22 at Fountain Lake. So just great coverage right there.
Now in the third quarter, this is the first punt of the game from the Badgers. They scored on every drive in the first half, but this is a great punt from Gabe Goodman, and Carlos Haney lets it roll all the way as close as you can get to the goal line. A really nice field position shift.
Yeah, we're really close to creating a safety right there. We felt like we let him off the hook a little bit right here, gave him a little bit too much. We want to make sure that if we got him pinned back like that, that we keep the ball in their territory. So right there, but it's a great punt by Gabe. And we've got to finish tackles right there, and not let them off the hook, if you will, when they're backed up like that.
That was really the only big play of the game for Fountain Lake, getting a 30-plus yard run with the penalty tacked on at the end. But Badgers are backed up against their own goal line here, but end up being able to put in a stop. In large part thanks to this bad snap.
Yeah, we finally felt like we got a really good break right there. We'd been making our breaks, but right there we actually got a break where they had a bad snap, and then Carlos makes another break right here. Does a great job playing this football and getting the interception and giving us the opportunity to get the ball back and drive the field.
Yeah, Carlos with the interception return all the way to the 20-yard line. And the Badgers get the football back here, trying for a couple long passes. That time to Tadamy, incomplete, so they're forced to punt once again, but Goodman does a good job getting the ball away.
Yeah, and you see we changed our scheme. We've got two different schemes now on punt, where we're only punting from 7 yards. Gabe does a great job of getting it off quickly on one of them, and then the other scheme is to use our quick kick. And so I feel like those have been executed really well, and we're getting better and better at those.
That really helps when you have so many players who are able to execute in special teams. Right here, Cannon Turner, the quarterback, playing safety with a big tackle for loss on third down.
Yeah, this is something that we felt like Cannon could do for us. Being out there on defense, on our defense, is just having that presence, that game experience presence, and being able to use his body and be violent, so that I feel like that presence really helped us out defensively.
And, that really speaks to his football IQ that he only practiced for 2 days of the week, and then he comes in and puts in that performance on defense.
It really does. He's able to understand what we're trying to do. Coach Kaiser and the defensive staff do a great job preparing our scouting reports, and so, they've got stuff that they can study, and we've got huddle that our players can use to make sure they understand exactly what we're trying to do. And so Cannon does a great job and is able to study those things and remember them really quickly. So glad he was able to do that and have a great game defensively as well.
Hatley really showing in the last 2 plays there that he is back to full speed, running through players and showing a bit of power to his game. Unfortunately, can't pick up the first down. It's another field goal here. 34-0 is the score. Really looking for that good sportsmanship rule, but not able to get it to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we talked about. We felt like we just kind of relaxed a little bit, and we don't want to do that. We felt like we could have scored again. On the first drive that we got the ball, we weren't able to do that, but we've just got to get back to that mentality of putting our foot on their throat and holding our foot there and pressing down to finish off football games.
Good job by the defense forcing a punt, and then Cannon Turner breaking a big run here, and he's going to run all the way to Bismarck straight through the back of the end zone, and he just doesn't stop.
Yeah, did a great job right there. That's one of the things that we teach our players is to run through the back of the end zone. You just never know if somebody's behind you. Did a great job, and that's one of our most basic plays. We run Ohio and Q Ohio. That was Q Ohio right there, which is a simple outside zone concept, and I just felt like it was executed really, really well.
So mercy rule comes into play. Second team comes in the game and does a great job, a tackle for loss, and then they force a fumble, and that's against Fountain Lake's first team offense. So really nice job by those second team defense.
Yeah, it's really good. I felt like Chandler Langstaff. He got the fumble recovery, and our second team defense did a really good job. And then our offense, we really had an opportunity to put the ball in the box. Weren't able to do it, but we had our second PAT out there as well. So it gives those guys some great game experience, and we really want those guys to be able to play in the varsity football games, and then even if somebody goes out for whatever reason, they've got to be ready to step in and play next man up and be ready to play in a critical situation as well. So thought they did a good job finishing that game off.
Yeah, and they did a really nice job there. Let's talk about the defense. They put in a shutout. That was the first shutout of the season, and they really looked like an improved team out there from last week. Not really allowing those mistakes, finishing tackles, and doing a really good job out there.
Yeah, I felt like we may have taken for granted. Last year we had several shutouts. I can't remember exactly how many, but had several shutouts, and it's hard to get a shutout against anybody. Even last year against Fountain Lake, I think we beat them 70-7. They scored on our first defense in that game. So it's really hard to get a shutout against anybody you play. And our guys did a great job. Even on the drive, that long drive that they had with that one big play, they were able to bend but not break and finish off the drive, or finish off getting them off the field right there. So really proud of the way our defense played for four quarters, and hopefully we'll be able to take that momentum into this next week. We'll have a challenge on our hands, stopping the dead T next week. So we look forward to that challenge.
Yeah, and everyone knows about those linebackers for the Badgers, Wallace and Harrison and Turner. They've been so good all year, but one area that's really improved is the defensive line. Ricky Rogers and Jason Campbell have been stalwarts on the defensive line for 2 years now, but those interior defensive linemen, the tackles, have really improved as the year goes on. And you saw them getting a lot of big stops in the backfield Friday night.
Yeah, they really have. I mean, Terrell Sumler, Keandre Dawson, Elijah Wheeler, all three of those guys have been doing a really good job for us. They, especially on Friday night, Terrell had a huge sack. I think he had 2 TFLs as well. And then Keandre had a big game versus Nashville, and then another he had a good game versus Benton as well. And Elijah Wheeler has really been getting after it in practice. He's only a sophomore, doing a great job every week in practice, and look forward to more good things out of him. And I feel like Jason and Ricky are starting to hit their stride. I think Jason, both of them had a sack, and so I'm really excited about those guys and their, moving forward, their play as we move forward.
Something we saw a little bit of on Friday night, and something that's a bit different for the Badgers, is a lot of players playing both ways. Something the Badgers have prided themselves on for years now is that they play 22 players on the field, 11 people on offense, 11 on defense. So what's led to that change now?
Well, I think for us, I think, with Cannon playing defense, the biggest thing for us was just that game playing experience. Last year we had even the guys that were in our secondary. We had a senior, we had a junior, a senior, and a junior in the secondary last year, and so we really need some guys with some game playing experience, and I feel like the mix between and I think it helped Cannon even offensively too. He's not on the sideline thinking about that next drive. He's a go-getter, so I think it actually helped him this week to go out there and play while the rest of the offenders were resting. But I think the experience level, again, Kyron playing running back. Kyron's a really, really good running back. And we don't want to get to a point where we're playing him so much that he loses what he gives us as one of our best linebackers on the football team. But we want to be able to mix him in, and we only mixed him in one play this past week, and he was able to score a touchdown on that play. So I think there's a balance. We don't want to go full-fledged where we're playing everybody on both sides of the ball. We want to make sure that we're very specific and we don't lose the advantage that we feel like we've been creating with our two-platoon system.
So one player that came in at the end of the game and played quarterback was Buster Thomas. We've seen him do a lot of things in the last couple of weeks for the Badgers, but he looked really good throwing the football at quarterback. So is that something we could see more him playing quarterback as Cannon is playing on the defensive side of the football?
Well, I think the biggest thing is Buster is the next man up at quarterback. So if something happened to Cannon, Buster's got to be ready to play anyway. And that's the same thing in practice. I mean, he's going to get some reps in practice at quarterback in case something did happen to Cannon where he couldn't play. But Buster, we feel like is one of our most, he's a slot for us like we have never had at Arkadelphia. Logan Lucas, he's probably the best slot. He's probably got the most or the highest football IQ of any slot that we've had. But Buster's got this quickness to him that we haven't had out there in that slot position before. And Logan made so many plays for us last year. We feel like Buster can do the same thing, but Buster's also got the ability to run away from people. He's really good at track and he can really run, and he's got quickness that most of our other guys do not have. So he's such a dangerous weapon out there. When you got two runners in the backfield and then you're able to get that ball to somebody out on the edge or even on the jet sweep, it makes our offense so much more dangerous. So we want Cannon and Buster on the field at the same time. And I think we can look forward to Buster making more plays at slot. And if something ever did happen to Cannon, that's when he would go in at quarterback.
We've been through the grueling part of the season now, and you finally got a win off your back. How does that help the team looking forward to the future of the rest of the season?
Well, I think confidence. We gained a little confidence seeing that we can play a really clean football game. And if we, looking back at some of the games that we've had, if we play just a little bit cleaner, our record is not what it is. But we've put all that behind us. We're 1-0, and really we're seeking to be 1-0 again this week. I mean, we're going to put Fountain Lake behind us. We're going to seek to be 1-0 again this week versus Haskell Harmony Grove. So I think the entire football season is going to be grueling. We're hoping to play clean football throughout the rest of this season, and if we're able to do that, then hopefully we will extend our season every week as we move toward the playoffs.
So let's take a look at some of the scores from around the conference last week. Ashdown beat Malvern 47-15. Bauxite beat Harmony Grove 35-18. Robinson over Nashville 39-25. But Harmony Grove, I think they were undefeated up until last week, but that loss to Bauxite, put them down, and that's our opponent for next week. So can you give us a little bit about what that game's going to entail? Because we never really played Harmony Grove before. They're a new team to the conference.
Yeah, Haskell Harmony Grove. So they, on offense, they look a lot like Bauxite. Offensively, they run the dead T, and so we've got to be prepared to fit in the right gaps, to squeeze, to wrong arm, and to take care of our responsibility defensively. It's going to be a run-heavy game, anywhere from 90 to 100% run for Haskell Harmony Grove, and so our defense has got to be ready to stop the run. And so we'll probably make a couple of personnel changes to make sure that we've got that run-oriented or run defense, stop oriented defense. That's what we're looking for this week. Offensively, we're going against a similar look that we went against last week in Fountain Lake. They play a 3-down front. They'll bring an outside backer to add to the box and make it a 4-down front sometimes. But the bottom line, offensively, defensively, special teams, we're going to come up with plans to put our players in situations that will hopefully give them success. And the bottom line is, let's go out there and execute, and let's execute as hard as we possibly can. And when we do that, we can feel good about our performance.
And I believe this week is homecoming for Arkadelphia, so how does that play into the excitement surrounding the game?
Well, hopefully it doesn't play in too much. I mean, that's exciting. It's exciting, especially for people coming to homecoming, and it's also exciting for the court and the queen. But we look forward to making it exciting on Friday night. We look forward to making sure that we take care of business. And that's something that we've already talked about on Sunday. Let's not get distracted by all kinds of stuff going on outside of what we can control. What we can control is what we do in practice on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And if we do that, Friday night will take care of itself, and that's what we're focusing on this week.
Well, Coach, we're all excited about the team's performance on Saturday night. We're all excited for this next week coming up. Badgers are going to be at home against Haskell Harmony Grove on Friday night at 7 p.m. It's homecoming, like we said, so it'll be an exciting atmosphere at the game. We hope you'll come out. If you can't make it, be sure to tune in at ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com to catch all the action. We'll be back next week with more of the J.R. Eldridge Show, so we'll see you then.
The J.R. Eldridge Show is sponsored by Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments, Welch Funeral Home, Southwest Sporting Goods, Arnold, Batson, Turner & Turner, Attorneys at Law, Jostens, Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker, Southern Bancorp, Taylor King, Personal Injury Lawyers, Mary and Martha's Florist and Gifts, Twin Rivers Health and Rehabilitation, Turner, Rogers, Manning & Plyler, PLLC, and Roger Wingfield of State Farm Insurance. Join us again next week for more Badger football action with Caleb Bird and head coach J.R. Eldridge.